Hi, I'm Sherry. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I want to talk to you about different kinds of trellising that you can use to support your plants. So let's get started. Now, I think one of the most important things to keep in mind is that you have to be resourceful when you're making your trellises. Now, I've seen Jess from Roots and Refuge Farm use cattle panels to make those beautiful arched trellises in her garden. I will leave a link to her channel down below in case you want to check her out. She has a beautiful garden and she's been inspiring me for years. But I couldn't find any cattle panels where I'm growing. I'm growing in Mexico City, and I think the market here is a lot more urban oriented, so it was really hard for me to get my hands on cattle panels. But what I could find was some wire exhibition panels that I used to make my tomato walls. I have a video on that. I will link it down below if you want to see it. And that's what I used to make this lovely arch trellis. I just curved the tops a little and zip tie them together, and they make beautiful arch trellises. So there's a lot of stuff that you can use. For example, for tomatoes, you only need one vertical support, or you can tie them up on fencing. I have this kind of support, and there's a lot of things that you can use. You can make teepees out of bamboo sticks, or you can weave them together. I would just advise you to try to be resourceful and try to find something that works, because there's a lot of options. You can make wooden structures, you can make fencing structures and trellises. Like this is just some wire fencing that I like to make into tubes and zip tie them together, and this is how I like to grow my peas. I would only use this type of trellising for small stuff like peas and beans and maybe even the cucamelons, because they're very tiny. But since they're very hard to get your hand into, you couldn't grow anything that's bigger than this size. Now I'm just going to show you how I've set up my trellises in case you want to do something similar. So I actually did a video of setting this trellis up. I'm going to link it in the description below. This is just a wire exhibition panel, and it's mounted and zip tied onto a clothing rack. So it has a lot of support and stability. I use it to grow my tomatoes, but you can really use it to grow any type of vining plant. There I have two exhibition panels that are curved on the top and zip tied together, and I mounted them onto some T-posts. So those are pretty sturdy, and you can grow decent sized fruit. You could totally grow some personal sized melons and watermelons on these, as well as cucumbers, and right now I'm growing a cucuzzi squash on it, and so far it's doing great. Here I have my cucamelons on this very simple tube made of fencing and some zip ties. I'm hoping this really fills up. You can also make tomato cages out of, this is some cattle fencing, and that's the only cattle related material that I could get my hands on where I live. But I'm growing a San Marzano right there, and it's doing pretty good. As I mentioned before, you only need some sort of stake. I just used a stick that came out of that tree in my garden. It needed to be pruned, so we chopped up some lower branches, and I used one of them to make this improvised stake for my tomato because that's what I had on hand at the moment. But as you can see, you just need to tie it up. So that was it for today. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, consider giving it a thumbs up. If you like to see more videos like this, please consider subscribing to my channel. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. It was lovely hanging out with you. I'll see you on the next one. Bye. Trellising. Bamboo while they're growing. Struggle, struggle, struggle to be able to panels to make cattle pen. I can see you. I can see you. I can see you right there. Sorry.